Today in the crypto space, we see the market still going sideways, Bitcoin at 26,000 and Ethereum at 1,600. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins are pretty much waiting for Bitcoin and Ethereum. However, there is a bit of price action to the downside in the last little while. However, we need to stay one step ahead of this market. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but I want to kick it old school and go back to some of these larger cap blue chip altcoins. And today's video is all about Cardano. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome on the channel. We talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, all we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of that volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel and click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects that you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. And of course, guys, join the Discord. It's a great community, lots of alpha, lots of good trade setups and fundamentals and all that good stuff. All right, guys, let's continue here. What do we see in this general market? And then we'll take a look at Bitcoin as a leading indicator, and then we'll jump right into Cardano. Cardano is one of those larger cap altcoins, you know, the blue chips, whatever you want to call it. Right now, Cardano and a lot of these layer ones are pretty much at the bottom of the range, last line in the sand, potentially looking for some strong support. And that's why I want to start looking at some of these blue chip altcoins, or stronger large cap altcoins, because at the end of the day, they pose a little bit of stability in comparison to small cap altcoins. There's a lot more volatility right there, and we've been focusing significantly on them. And I think that it would be very healthy for any portfolio to start looking at larger caps as well and integrating those into your overall strategy, given the fact that they do have a bit of stability and strength going forward. Okay, so especially if we do see Bitcoin come down to lower levels, it may be very smart to get into some of these altcoins that might have a little bit less volatility. So today is about Cardano, but before we get into Cardano, let's continue looking at this market. We have a lot of sideways still. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance going sideways at the top here after a nice little rally up, a nice little push up. XRP still going sideways. Cardano obviously in the short term still going sideways. Dogecoin going sideways. Tron sideways. A lot of sideways. Toncoin a bit sideways now. At the end of the day, it does look pretty bullish, 12% in the last 7 days. But you know, right now it's a pretty much top heavy. I would be very careful with Toncoin at the current moment. Wait for those dips, of course, guys. Wait for the retracements. Don't buy into those green candles. There's lots of opportunities in this market to get great entries. You just got to be very patient. Let's continue. What else do we have? Lots of sideways. Nothing really, you know, interesting here for me so far. Monero, not really interested. HBAR, Hedera hash graph, down 12.5%, 3% in the last 24 hours. Of course, we get a little bit of bullish news. The market rallies up, and guess what happens? People take profit. People take profit despite all the bullishness, and no matter what people are saying, people take profits. And that's one thing you got to understand as an investor, is that although the project may be bullish, there are individuals that bought very low that definitely want to de-risk and take profits when it starts, you know, going into the green. And especially have some good bullish news, the price takes effect, and that's when you see a bit of profit taking. And that's where we're getting a bit of a dip to the downside. I like HBAR. I wouldn't mind taking a look at HBAR in tonight's live stream. I'm going to put that one on the list. And if you have any projects you want me to cover in tonight's live stream, the best place and time to request those projects is tonight at 7:30 Eastern live, where I basically go over charts and basically cover all your requests. So join live 7:30 Eastern tonight. All right, what else do we have here? Quant, a little bit top heavy after a nice little push to the upside, maybe looking for that retracement. We have Chrono, CRO pumping up and then coming a little back down. New York Protocol showing a bit of strength in the last little while, but in a sideways consolidation. I'm not seeing anything, guys. Nothing really good. Ultimately, that I'm showing is seeing a little bit of strength, right? But if you zoom out, there are opportunities, especially with those layer ones, guys. We're going going to talk about Cardano in a second. Render coming down to lower levels at $1.40. I'm getting interested, guys. I'm getting interested. Pay attention to this one, because as soon as I feel like I should be scaling in, you'll be definitely updated on the Discord and on the channel. Discord is the best place to get in contact with me and the community, as it is definitely a great place to, you know, amalgamate ideas and get prepared for a move. Render, it has been retracing significantly, and I'm expecting Render to hit a level of support very, very soon, and that is when we're going to start deploying capital, especially the capital that I took off the top when we basically rallied up. So I want to re-enter at lower levels. Let's continue here. What else do we have? Nice push up on Curve Dow, 5.5% give or take, looking pretty good. A sign of strength right there. Little pullback, I would be getting in. A sign of strength right there. Proof of life on Curve Dow. After a bit of a, you know, layer of FUD, it did definitely push through. What else do we have here? Dips. Any good interesting dips? Nothing really happening. Okay, so guys, my overall consensus right now on this market is we're still sideways. Plenty of opportunities to buy dips, plenty of time to look for good retracements and dollar cost average opportunities. There is no rush just yet. My overall idea here is that the current market, big picture, is in a transitionary phase from bearish to bullish. This transition could definitely take some time, and throughout this transition we're gonna have peaks and valleys that we can take advantage of. So that's what I'm gonna plan on doing until I get confirmation that we are getting into this bull run. There's no way that I'm gonna get absolutely bullish here and take risk. We're gonna have to mitigate our risk, trade ranges, take profits early, and just accumulate for the up and coming bull run that's soon to come. All right, let's continue here, guys. I want to begin our analysis talking about Bitcoin. I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's do that. Bitcoin rallying up, of course, doing a nice little move to the upside. Nice move to the upside, 100% from its bottom. Is finally showing a bit of weakness at these tops. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to come down so heavy. What it does mean is that at the end of the day, it's a very risky scenario to get into fresh longs right now. Now, you can get in a short-term long. Maybe we do get a bit of a bounce right here and come back to range highs. It's very likely that could happen, and it's all about probability. Now, if that does happen, guys, I'm expecting some range-bound price action that causes the Bitcoin price to stay right around this zone. Now, at worst case scenario, we come to about 20,000. For me, that would be a golden pocket retracement. Even a bit lower would be absolutely healthy, because it would be definitely a higher low. Guys, all we really want to do is get confirmations. Really, that's all we really want here for Bitcoin. Confirm the fact that we are in a bullish trend. If you zoom out and look at this right now, this could be classified as a dead cat bounce on bigger time frames. On the daily, we came down hard, got some support, and is bouncing. Okay, so that's all we potentially could be doing. Now, upon the bounce completion and upon the retracement back to the downside and testing lower levels, do we create a higher low? And that, for me, would be a nice confirmation, especially with the fact, just pay attention to this. Look at this consolidation of price action. In fact, let's just look right here. You can see that this spike on the RSI is right around here, the lowest part of this dip. Now, look at the current dip, where we are, and look at the RSI. The price action is actually higher, while the RSI is a lot lower. Guys, that's a sign of divergence. However, we could get multiple drives of bearish divergence and still come down to lower levels, guys, and that's what I'm waiting for. The daily currently is definitely oversold, and it is a good spot to potentially get a short-term bounce to the upside, and I'm expecting that very, very soon. However, I am not convinced completely. We didn't hit a very good level of horizontal support just yet. We need a little bit more to the downside to actually get some real conviction, and I'm expecting that. Now, it doesn't mean to have to happen. Look at the MACD right now. EMA crossed to the upside. Check this out. EMA is crossing very, very soon. The only thing that bothers me is this little cluster of green. Could it replicate itself? Could we get a little cluster of green and then finally continue coming down, guys? That would be, you know, a very bearish thing. And ultimately, again, the RSI is looking pretty good, given the fact that the price action is going sideways and the momentum is going upwards, looking for a full reset to the upside, and then finally get into overbought. That's when we will start taking profits, right? But we got to stay very objective here. The probability is that we're going to come down and sweep some lows. You know, it does happen all the time. So are we going to prepare for that? Are we going to prepare for some liquidity at lower levels? Some, you know, quick wicks down there to trap people up and then finally get that bounce and, you know, look for liquidity at lower levels. It's very, very possible. Let's get into the 4-hour for a second. You can see that we're already tracking to the upside, looking for that full reset to overbought conditions on the 4-hour. We are currently in the chop zone. That's the reality. We're in the chop zone at the 50% mark, hanging out here, going sideways. If we continue going up and get to overbought conditions, it's likely that we do get a short-term rally up and maybe hit about 28,450, give or take. Then from there, it's likely that we continue to the downside. It's very, very likely, and get a little bit of support, a confirmation low at low levels, because this does look like a, you know, a continuation pattern, maybe a consolidation. But some people might say Bart Simpson pattern. For sure, Bart Simpson. Let's go up. We come up here, get a bit of a rejection, come back down, and then we start looking for confirmation lows. We want double bottoms. Even if it's a lower low with a strong sign of bullish divergence, I feel like I would get in. Right now, I'm not getting that sense that I should be. My rules or my conditions are not all met. We just have momentum, no signs of bullish divergence just yet. So as soon as I get those confirmations, guys, I'm going to feel a little bit more convicted, and my, you know, seeing my thesis play out would be absolutely healthy. So for now, being very, very patient, and in fact taking the opportunity to look at some of these altcoins. Guys, if you have any altcoins that you want me to cover, especially those deep dives, if you're interested in me doing a deep dive on your desired project, feel free to join the Discord. On the Discord, there is a channel that allows you to basically request deep dives. I do deep dives every Sunday. I release a new deep dive. The previous deep dive was on Dynex. I've done Taraxa. I've done deep dives on Dimitra, done deep dives on Octaspace, and many more, Unibot, many more. So go check them out. They're all there. Basically, I get into the fundamentals. I speak about the project and what it is about, the team, the tokenomics, and all that stuff that you really want to know about before getting into, especially a low cap project that doesn't have much price action. Okay, so right now, that's what we're doing. We're looking at altcoins. We're looking for opportunities in other projects. And of course, altcoins could be a bit risky. Guys, none of this is financial advice. I encourage all of you to do your own research. However, guys, altcoins might give you that volatility that you're looking for to start trading. Bitcoin is not really giving it to us, but it doesn't mean that you got to get into risky positions. Doesn't mean that you're going to start getting it all in. You know, don't bet the farm here. You're going to get in with small positions, trade the range, and get out. Get in and get out. All right, let's continue. Let's take a look at Cardano. Cardano, at the end of the day, you know, has been dipping down, and it's not only Cardano. Okay, it's not only Cardano. If you look at AVAX, Phantom, Matic, and many more, you know, Near Protocol, there's many larger cap altcoins that right now are bleeding out a little bit, and in pretty much a very similar range of Cardano. The reason why I chose to talk about Cardano today is, number one, Cardano has been very stable. Its network is stable. Okay, as a project, I know it's slow to evolve and build, and you know, but slow and steady wins the race. I know it's a very cliche thing to say, but it's the reality. Being very patient, creating a very strong foundation, a strong community. For me, that is a very smart thing to do. So, especially in software, when you're the last thing you want to do is have exploits and have software updates and emergency updates, or having to fork over to another chain and rollbacks and this and that. That's the last thing you want to do. So you want to tread carefully, slow and steady, and do things properly the first time. And I think that is what Cardano's main objective is: quality, and go slow and steady and get things done right the first time. So for me, I like that. That is one of the benefits behind Cardano. And one of the negatives, of course, is that their ecosystem is slow growing, but of high quality. So let's hopefully see Cardano continue going fundamentally to the upside as it reaches its milestones. Right now, we do see the price action at the bottom of the range. We can't deny it. And like many other layer ones are pretty much in the same boat, in the last line in the sand. On the channel, I talk a lot about risk. You know, risk is the most important thing, in my opinion, with regards to trading. It's the most important thing to kind of get in check. Have a plan, have a strategy to basically mitigate your risk as best as possible. And that includes position size. And based on position size, it also includes whether you're going to introduce leverage or not. because leverage, ultimately what it does is it increases your position size, and not only that, it introduces a liquidation point, because at the end of the day, the exchanges that give you that extra position or buying power, they want to ensure that their initial capital that was given to you is covered no matter what. So you have a liquidation point, so that at the end of the day, that collateral can be paid back to the exchange. So there's a bit of risk as soon as you introduce leverage. Now, of course, you can go on with 2x leverage, 1x leverage. You can do whatever you want with regards to how much leverage you put, but the reality is it's all about position size. That's the truth here. Now, just because right now we're at the bottom of the range, it's all about risk to reward ratio, right? So if you look at it, we came down pretty hard. This was a great buy opportunity. This was a great sell opportunity. These arrows have been in here for months, okay? You can check out the previous videos that I've done on Cardano. I've shifted a bit of my focus into lower cap altcoins lately, because I felt like we needed to catch up on what the market was happening. The market right now was really hot with regards to seeing new projects entering the space, and in preparation of the bull run, I think it's a very smart thing to keep up with the new tech that is being released and being able to get a small position size and all those very volatile projects, because those projects at the end of the day can do 50, 100, who knows how many X's, whereas Cardano at the end of the day, if we're lucky, we can get a 10 to 20X maximum, right? Even 10X, I would be very happy to see Cardano do. And of course, it's all about use case. It's all about the whether it can flip Ethereum. It's many factors regarding how many X factors it could do, but I'm expecting a good 10X is very possible for Cardano, right? So, but with a lower cap altcoin that is a layer one competitor to Cardano, to Ethereum, to all these layer ones, we could definitely see a lot of good strength. So I've been focusing on alts, but it doesn't mean that Cardano can give us something to our portfolio, which is stability, which is strength in numbers. Okay, the network is already built. There's a lot of stake tokens. There's a big community already, and you're going to get a lot of strength by those factors that you kind of want in your portfolio to give you a bit of movement to the upside if we get into the bull run. But again, if we don't, it's going to give you a bit of that stability. Okay, so Cardano has been coming down. It's very, very clear. I'm not going to deny that, but we are currently at a decent level of support. As I mentioned, downward sloping wedge, descending wedge, and we got to the apex and we broke out. We took a bit of profit here on these red arrows, which was healthy. And then once again, the the patience that you need is to see this thing retrace pretty much our breakout point, because it does happen, especially during a transitionary phase from bearish to bullish, you go sideways. And this is what I believe we are in. We are currently, in my opinion, at the bottom of the range of a potential channel, or a range that we're building here. So what I'm looking at is volume gaps. I'm looking at weak spots in the charts. I'm looking at previous price action. And at the end of the day, I'm looking at signs of divergence, signs that the bears are done. The bears are weak, or they're exhausted from pushing down the price. And I can see a bit of exhaustion. Okay, let's get right into this and see. We got previous lows. We have a weak spot down here, which for me is very important to identify, because below this, we barely have any price action until we get to about 17.50, 17 cents, 17.5 cents, which you can see based on the VPVR, there's a bit of a gap here, guys, a bit of a gap. Now you can see that there's a bit of an, some sideways here, some chop action looking left. Be careful, but at the end of the day, this zone, maybe a little higher, might be okay. Even at 18 cents, 18.3 cents is okay if you front run just a little bit. Okay, so I can see that I was a little bit too I want to be a bit modest. You don't want to lose out on an opportunity. I'd rather front run just a little bit and scale in a bit earlier, just in case, because you don't want to miss your entries, right? You can't nickel and dime too much. And same thing with take profits. Don't take profits at exactly the areas, because at the end of the day, you never know, man. You might miss out on your opportunity to take profit. So you want to be well prepared either way. Okay. Now, also, what I'm noticing as this price action is developing, we are noticing a spike of volume here. This spike of volume right now is starting to show me that this is a very important level to identify. And I'm going to trail up this weak spot, because right now the weak spot is right below that cluster. And I'm going to push this down. Okay, so since I've did this TA, which is pretty much up when I took profits up here, I've kind of identified the zone, and you can see the zone is actually working good. Now what we're doing is housekeeping, tightening things up, making things a lot more clear. If we do break below this area, and I'm going to put this arrow down here, if we do break below this zone, guys, you're looking at 26 cents right now. If we do break down, it's not looking good for Cardano. The likelihood is that we come straight down and potentially hit about 630. It's 1830. 1830 is previous price action and potentially extension levels. Let's see. Swing high, swing low to swing high, 1.27 extension. Okay, 1.27 extensions are very confluent levels, and looking left, we do have price action to confirm that that is potentially a good level to expect a bit of a reaction. Now, it doesn't need to happen. This is the thing. The market doesn't promise you anything. The market will say probability is that we could get a little bit of a bounce right here at the 886 more or less of the retracement and get a bounce just slightly higher than previous lows and get a reaction to the upside. Now, if you look at the momentum oscillators, the RSI and the MACD is looking pretty good. Let's kind of zoom in here so you see what I mean. You can see that we are upward sloping here on the momentum, making a higher low. Okay, look at that. Okay, so now if we get out of here, and you can see that if you exclude the wicks on the price action, we're getting class B bullish divergence here, double bottom right here, while the RSI is moving up. This means that it's very likely that we do get a bounce, likely, not guaranteed. Now if you look at the MACD also is looking okay. We're getting an EMA cross as we speak, and we're talking about the daily time frame for sure, and it looks like we want to get into the bullish control zone. You can see after a huge spike down, we got that retracement, a nice retracement, and now we're getting a bit of a dip and maybe a continuation where we finally get into the bullish control zone right up to these levels. And if that happens, we're going to expect a nice little swing from Bitcoin, from Cardano to the upside. And especially if Bitcoin gets some short-term relief, it will definitely drag the market up to those higher levels, including Cardano. So both MACD and the RSI are looking pretty good right now. And of course, there's signs of bullish divergence right here as well. Right, class B bullish divergence. Those two clusters are upward sloping, while these two bottoms are sideways. Exclude the wicks, guys. You don't include the wicks when you look for divergences. Now, with that being said, now is there a structure change? Is there a change in structure? We are currently creating a double bottom. No clear sign of structure breaks or anything. We got a slightly higher high in comparison to this, but that was in basically trying to create that inverse head and shoulder type of scenario that we kind of see. It's not a clear inverse head and shoulder, but the overall sentiment was bearish divergence, follow through price action, confirmation high, lower high, back testing the breakdown, and then finally continuation down. So the question is, are we coming down to those lower levels? We have an indication that we might be getting bullish divergence right here at a very critical level, and we also have this idea that if we get another impulse to the downside, we need to be prepared at about 1830. Okay, so let's be aware of that. Now, this is also the 1.27 extension, so a bit of confluence everywhere. Okay, this is the daily time frame. Now, from a risk to reward ratio, and we're still sticking with the daily, we're going to jump into the 4 hour in a second to kind of see if our entries are great and if we're getting any signals for a good entry. From a risk to reward ratio opportunity, what I really want to show you guys is at the end of the day, invalidation is very clear. Your invalidation is pretty much where we are right now. Right? You can invalidate this trade by saying, look, if we fall below even the previous low, if you want to do that low, even down here, right? You're looking at 5 to 6% risk, fine. But the potential profit taking, again, even at range highs, you're looking at up here, it's about 70% potential gains here with a risk of only 5 to 6%. So you're looking at a ratio of 12 to 1. Guys, that is absolutely healthy. Now, if you introduce leverage, understand that even with 2x leverage, you're looking at 140%, but you're looking at over a 10% risk, which is a significant portion of your portfolio. So it's all about position size. You're going to get in with a small position, right? And that way, even though the risk to reward ratio, the risk is about 10%. What is 10% equate to if you get into a small position? Make sure that it's only 2% of your portfolio. Okay, that's it. That's all you really want to do is 2% of your portfolio. And at the end of the day, when you get up to this level, you would have doubled that position, almost doubled at 70%. If you get in with 2x leverage, you could have definitely doubled it. So this is good. But some might argue, but Mike, what if we break out? That would be a great thing, right? Because we're breaking structure. This was the the previous high. If we kind of break out of this previous high, now what we're really going to potentially be doing is creating a higher high after a double bottom. Guys, that's an indication of a potential pivot point. This was a very clear sign of bullish divergence. We got the follow through, we got the back test, we got a slightly higher low currently. And what about if we actually break this level right here? Guys, it would be a higher low, a higher high. If we get that higher high and then we come back down and create a higher low as a confirmation low with an actual higher low, then we're actually producing higher highs and higher lows. That is the pivot point. That is the follow through of this pivot point, and in trend reversal, here we come. So that's the reality. And you can see that if you start looking at higher levels, guys, Cardano has a lot of opportunity to continue to the upside. The volume gaps, the gaps of weak spots, like you can see, let me kind of drag this down a little bit because I don't even think this red box does it justice. Look at this weak spot that we have here, and you can basically correlate it to the price action looking left, straight up on this side, pretty much straight down on this side with very low volume in this little consolidations here, which means that that's a weak spot. If we break above 55 cents, guys, we can snap to about 80 cents very easily, 78 cents very easily without much resistance holding it back. But again, this range is where a lot of people might get wrecked. Don't get too bullish. Protect your gains once you get at previous highs. Trail up the stop loss, okay? Trail up the stop loss just in case we do break out. You have a bit of a position still left in with a stop loss protecting your gains just in case we get that reversal and come down to lower levels. But right now is not a bad time to start DCAing, assuming the fact that you understand that we can break down from here and come down to this level here, which is at 1837. Okay, that's the key. Now you have options. You can DCA. Okay, you can DCA and put a stop loss under here if you want to do something like that. If it does come down, and then maybe, you know, dollar cost average, so your average position is here, and you can see now you're at almost 100% gains, and your risk to reward ratio got a little hurt, but it's fine. You're doing well. You're DCAing. You're mitigating your risk through introducing more capital into your position as the price action unfolds, which is totally fine. Or you can set your stop loss nice and tight, and if it does come down here, you reaccumulate your position. Yes, you have already made a little bit of a loss, but you'll make up for the losses upon this bounce to the upside. Okay, that's the reality. And one more thing I want to let you know here on the daily is that this little range right here, this little weak spot, most often what we do see, and it's about a 28% range, most often we see that the price, if it does dip, it kind of consolidates here for a little bit. Okay, so which means that even if we come down, you get a buy order into here and we come right back up because it's a weak spot, so we'll have the space to actually get a reaction. You could take profits right at this level of 25.8, and at the end of the day, 25 cents 25 cents, take a bit of profit, and you're up 30% just on that dip, you know, recuperating significantly for that small loss of 5 to 6% with that stop loss up here. So you got to always think about, it's about cutting your losses early so that you can recuperate and basically come back on the next impulse, potential impulse to the upside, which could be this level. So there's a lot to be said here, a lot of a potential risk. However, guys, you can see that we're at the bottom of the range, guys. This is the last line in the sand for Cardano until we get down to this cluster, down to this level. This is the ultimate level of support. Do we even dare see Cardano come down here? I am not sure. I still feel that we should prepare for 1870, more or less. This green arrow, at least prepare for it, okay? It could be very possible that we come down here. And you can see that was the breakout point for many individuals getting into a long position upon this nice rounded, you know, bottom right here. So that would be max pain. That would be max pain. People that got in at this level are definitely going to feel the pressure to take profit or sell, maybe even on a loss. Okay, let's get into the 4 hour quick, and then we're going to wrap it up. You can see right now the double bottom scenario. You know, we are basically in the chop zone on the RSI, which is very, very true, because look at the price action, pretty much choppy. The RSI is in the 50 zone. The reality is this thing is going to want to get fully reset to overbought conditions. It's likely that we get that impulse maybe to range highs and contest with this gap. It's very possible. I would be more comfortable, in fact, going in right now. If you're going to go long, this is the best time to go long and put that stop loss underneath. Obviously, none of this is financial advice. It's just about identifying risk to reward, right? That's all it is. At the end of the day, you can see that clear invalidation. Look at this clear invalidation, stop loss underneath. And even though the momentum is pushing up, the price action is still going sideways, waiting for people to get on board for the full reset. Now, the majority of the move typically happens right here. right in above the 60. Above 60%, you start to see the majority of the move. 65% is the majority of the move. Up to 65 to about maybe, let's say, 80, 75. Around this zone is where you get the majority of the move to the upside. Whereas from here to here, yeah, you might get some or none at all, or basically sideways. But then once you get into the 65 zone, guys, that's where you get the majority of the move. And that could be basically from here to like even here, or even up here, or even within this volume gap, you know, 32 cents, 35 cents. So the reality is, on the short term, even on the 4 hour, it looks good, guys. Overall, DCA slowly, build a position for the bull run. If you start doing that and you see this thing run up 20% or 10% in a day, or, you know, a nice little move to the upside, I would definitely take profits, take 50% of that position and turn it into short-term spots, wait for a dip and get right back in. That's the way you basically pack a bag for the bull run, is buying low, selling high on different time frames, the 4 hour, the daily. Based on my strategy, it does work. All right, guys, thank you for stopping by. If you haven't yet, do the channel a huge favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with that algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is a great community, lots of alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, all that good stuff. And of course, guys, I'm live at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.